Yeah, for sure. All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Love Bay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. I am your host, Sean Williams, aka Mr. President. And this is a safe room. We host a safe space for entrepreneurs, business owners here in Toronto, here in the city, in Canada overall, to share their personal and professional stories. And today, I got a special guest for y'all. I'm not gonna lie, it's been long overdue. Now, to give a little bit of a backstory, he's been on the show before, but that was a different time. That was an old Alex. This is a much more new, on the rise. Not even on the rise. Like he's here. He is a made man, and he's here on the show today. He's a podcast host, creative strategist, and also the founder of Wit Media Studios, the number one podcast studio. Let me put that one again. Numero uno podcast studio in the Durham region. He has had such a phenomenal come up. I'm talking about like his journey spans over a decade in the game. He's been able to pull some of the top guests you can imagine. Matt Barnes, yeah, he got him. Tiffany Alicia, yeah, he got her. Dr. Umar, I bet y'all know about Dr. Umar. Yeah, he got him as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the founder of Wit Media Studios, a good brother of mine, Mr. Alex Whitfield. Alex, my man, how are you doing?
Appreciate you, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm finally here in the safe room.
Yes, man. Honestly, like I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to have you back to talk about this new journey that you're going on. And again, I want to give you your flowers because, man, you are killing it. Like honestly, like you inspire me. You do.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I received that, bro. Thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. So I mean, overall, I'm just happy that we can have this conversation again. Based on just your growth, how you've been able to establish such longevity in what you're doing. So I'm excited to chat with you, have the people connect more of your story. So I say, like, let's get into it. Before we get into all the main questions, though, we have to start off with our hot seat segment. And you know what? Little fun story, ladies and gentlemen. It was because of this man that honestly the hot seat was born. He may not realize it, but I remember from our last conversation all those years ago, the hot seat was not a thing. And I remember he told me, "Hey, Sean, like, I think what you're doing is good. If you can add like segments in between, like, that'd be great." So you got to thank this man for the hot seat right here.
Appreciate you, bro. Wow, I had no idea. Damn. I remember saying that.
Of course. Listen, man. Again, that's why I said, like, you definitely inspire me to be better, to keep pushing through. So overall, I see you as a mentor in a way. But yeah, let's get into the hot seat to kind of start things off. So outside the work that you do, tell me something about yourself in one sentence.
Outside the work that I do, say something about myself. Man, I I'm a strong believer in God. I'm a big family person. I love being black. I love being Jamaican. Yeah, and that's me. I'm a very cultured, very family centered person. So if I'm not at work, I'm either at the gym or with my loved ones, and yeah, that's really it. I'm relatively simple, down to a science.
Honestly, I love
Mhm.
that, man. Yeah, and I can definitely tell, like, you are someone who you're such a hard worker, but also you're able to build such a strong community as well with the people that you surround yourself with, which I really commend. I feel like for a lot of folks, trying to build that community of people that they can trust, that they can lean onto, it's not easy. It's an ongoing thing that we're all trying to do, including myself. But I feel like you've been able to surround yourself with some great people over the last couple of years and really build out a legacy for yourself, which again, I really commend.
I appreciate that, man. Honestly, same to you. You've built an amazing community. Like you've really put the work in over the years. And if anyone has not given you your flowers yet, I'm here to give that to you as well, man. You've been putting in the work over time, so I definitely salute you as well.
Yeah, man, of course. I mean, it hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
It's
bet you, man. Everyone thinks podcasting is easy peasy. Trust me, it ain't. It ain't easy, man. Most definitely.
Listen, I have to scream it to the people in the back. They probably think like, "Oh, let me just get a mic, just record," and like it's simple. Like, nah, B. That's like honestly, that's like the fun part when you get to a point where everything is like locked down. But when you're starting off, there's so many moving pieces.
Facts.
Yep. Okay. My next question for this hot seat segment: what is a podcast conversation? Like one podcast conversation you would wish to redo?
Mm. Oh, I have a few options. So number one has to be Tiffany Aliche. I feel so like grateful that she was able to be on the show. But that day where she's supposed to come on, it was a day from hell. Like I remember being so ecstatic. Oh, we're about to have Tiffany Aliche to come on. And it was a whole process of getting her on, going to her team and pitching her PR team and making sure that they're on our side. Okay, cool. We got them on our side. Cool. We got Tiffany Aliche about to come the day of. Like, all right, how are we gonna do this? Damn, I'll have to cable out my house. I gotta go get this one cable, or else the thing's gonna go to garbage. And it was a whole mess. And it took us like half an hour before we started recording. And Tiffany, like, is in her world, she's a celebrity. You know, a lot of people may know her, may not know her, but in her world, she's the Oprah of her world. So she had just come off doing the national news that day and was on a high of doing like the biggest channel in America. And then that night was on our channel. And she was waiting for us to be there. So that was definitely a shit the bed moment. And I would love to do it over again because she's a wealth of knowledge and her story is just amazing. So that's number one for sure. Number two, actually no, I'll keep it at one. I'll keep it at one. Yeah.
Honestly, knowing you, I feel like you have like multiple stories there, which I think
For
is
sure.
fantastic, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
overall, like, listen, I feel your pain. I think for myself, I interviewed um a Juno Award winning artist. Her name is Tomi, and I was reaching out to her team. There was, I don't know what it was, but the communication was as strong because like I was doing my best to follow up with her manager, but unfortunately, it wasn't equal on the opposite side. And I remember that the day came, I didn't hear nothing. So I was just going about my day. Next thing you know, like I'm seeing her DM me like, "Where you at?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I'm in the room on Riverside. Like, aren't you coming on? Mind you, I'm cooking a bowl of soup downstairs. So I had to leave the pot, run upstairs, go put on my headphones because I'm like, wait. Like, what's going on? And then she explained to me, like, oh yeah, we confirmed. It's just like my manager sometimes, like, if they don't respond in terms of like reminders or like, oh yeah, like I got your
Mm.
emails, it's just like, don't take it as seriously. Like, if it's confirmed, it's confirmed. So I'm like, okay then. I only had like 30 minutes to chat with her, so I would love to get her back for a full conversation. But that was one moment, like, man, if I had a chance to redo that in a heartbeat, I would.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
And
I
honestly,
also
those would be the worst ones, man. Like the times where you think it's gonna go well is the times where things go crazy, man. So as long as like things, as long as you stay confident throughout the process, you push through, people won't even realize,
100%. And I also
Yeah.
see Janelle in the comments. Shout out to sis. She says, "Oh, nothing. Just two podcasters chopping it up on a Thursday night on LuvBay Radio." You love to see it. You just love to see it, man. Alex, I don't know if you had the chance. Have you had the chance to meet my sister actually?
No, I don't believe so. What's going on, Chanel? How you doing?
Yeah, man. We gotta make that happen sometime. Like she's
For
cool people.
sure. Most
Okay.
definitely, man. Yeah. I'm
My
excited, man. It's gonna be a good conversation, man. Let's get into it. Is this the real time for the real conversation now?
No, I mean, listen, like we still cooking in the hot seat. Don't worry. You trying to
Okay.
get out of the hot seat? Don't
Okay.
worry.
Nah. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right, cool. My next question. I want you to share an interesting fact that you don't share that much with people.
Hmm. One interesting fact I don't really share too much is that I actually had a really bad stutter growing up. I used to hate public speaking, reading. I was the guy that could not speak. I remember my uncle telling me, "Please don't talk." Like it was bad. It was bad. So I used to have a really bad stutter, and that kind of is what led me to podcasting. So that's one thing not many people know about me, you know. So yeah, even to this day, the way I talk, sometimes I have to do an impersonation of somebody to try and get through public speaking properly because I still don't feel like it's naturally me. So yeah, that's some of the things that's really not known, but hey, it's part of the journey.
Honestly, I couldn't tell. I'm being honest, and I'm not even trying to like touch your nerves, but like, dude, I genuinely couldn't tell. I feel like you are someone who's like a natural speaker, and like the stuttering part, the fact that that was something when you were young, but it still pursued you to go into podcasting where all you do is like speak, like you're talking to folks. I think that shows that your ability to adapt to any situation.
Most definitely. You know what's interesting is that I'm a podcaster that isn't a yapper, you know? And I think that's such a different thing. Like, if you think about it, you might not think of Oprah's monologues. You don't really hear Oprah talk about a lot of things that's going on in her life. You know, you don't really hear like a huge monologue in her career. If you were to think about her career, you think of Tom Cruise saying on the couch, her saying everyone gets a car. But I kind of think of myself in that way. Not saying I'm Oprah. I'm not saying like that. But I'm saying of like that kind of style where you're more inquisitive and you're guiding people through the conversation. I've never been like a yapper where I sit down and I have like the giant story to tell everybody and everyone's like at my feet listening to it. It hasn't been my expertise as of yet, but something I'm looking to develop over the time for sure. Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Okay, final question before we get into the main questions. I know you're anxious and you want to get right into it. What is your personal safe room? So what is a safe space where it could be physical, it could be mental, that allows you to be your authentic self?
You know, big shout out to Nigel. I definitely will give a shout out to ISI. That's been a good safe space. Um, I'm gonna say a good car ride, you know, like after you've maybe hang out with your girl for a little bit, hang out with your boy, and you're just having like that one moment where y'all are just letting it all out of what's been happening. That's definitely a safe space for me. I'm also gonna say um, this is some conversation with my mom too. You know, between my mom, my girl, my boy. Like those are like the three spaces I have that are safe and ISI. So yeah, those are like some of the safe spaces I have.
I love
And
that.
therapy. Therapy is a definitely safe space for sure. Yeah, yeah. Do you do therapy?
Honestly, I don't, but I mean, like I've had like a couple of like therapists like on the show. So I mean,
Mhm.
hearing from the people that they, talk with on a daily basis, like it's nice to know, but I think there's always been this like nasty misconception and notion like, oh, black people don't do therapy, but obviously I think we're now
Mhm.
growing into times where that stigma is being broken down and that we are taking care of ourselves more, which I love for us.
For sure, for sure. What's stopping you?
Honestly, it might just be time, but honestly, with therapy, like you could just like find time to go to therapy. So honestly, like I might think about it. I might think about it more moving forward.
Yeah, man. Why not? Why not? You know, it's definitely helpful. I can't speak any less of it, man. It's like this has changed my life for 100%.
We love that
Yeah.
for you, man, for sure. I'm seeing like people in the chat are getting active. Oh my goodness. Chanel echoing again that she's excited for the conversation. Shout out Mama Dukes for real. Man, we love the mutters here. Also the quality of Alex visuals. I need to know who put us podcasts on. Guys, I'm telling you, like of all the guests I've had, Alex has the cleanest background. Like, look at this is pure podcast setup at work, man. So I'm
Appreciate you,
excited to
man.
get into it right now, man. But before we do get into that, again, I want to remind everyone who's coming on. This is the safe room here on LuvBay Radio. We are here with Alex Whitfield. He is the founder of Wit Media Studios. We're now going to switch gears a bit. Again, give a like, share, comment, subscribe. Please do so. It does a lot for here at LuvBay Radio. Again, you want to find us, so you can go to our website. We're currently live on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all the fixins. Y'all see it at the bottom with the banner. That's how you know I'm not lying. I'm not capping. Okay. Also, make sure you guys give a donation as well. It goes a lot when it comes to the work we do here at LuvBay Radio. Remember the number. I hope for all the people who've been listening the last couple of years, you know exactly what I'm about to say next. 437 778 3299. I'm going to keep asking it throughout the show. So when I get to that 32, y'all better put 99 in the chat. I want to hear no excuses. I know Alex eventually he's going to catch on. He's going to be like, oh, okay, when Sean says 32, I know exactly what to say right after, you know? So, but yeah, let's actually get into the main questions, man. So I want to ask you first off, Alex, just what has been the responsibility, you've accepted when you first started with Media Studios? Because obviously, you opened just last year, and I know it's only been a very short period of time, but you've been doing some tremendous work with such tremendous people. And I just want to know what has been just the one thing you kind of taken upon yourself ever since starting with Media Studios, and how is that one responsibility experience just made you stronger as a podcaster, but also now as a business owner, someone who's put in so much effort and space into Wit Media Studios as a whole?
I think it's made me responsible. It's made me really mature as a man and as a business owner. Um, it really makes you take ownership of everything and really just like dive deep into the craft. Before I think I was honestly, I still think I am like a master of many things. And I can see that as a strength now. Whereas before I thought it was like a weakness, or I can't dive into it, so I don't know it as much. But now I've done like the full suite. So like when it comes to recording an episode, editing one, creating clips, the whole thing. Working with clients, getting clients, closing deals, launching ads, like the full suite of the business I've done, hiring, firing, the whole thing. So now I think I have like a good Swiss Army knife of running a business to say, all right, now I can start putting what's in my head on paper and creating SOPs to start hiring new people to do those roles. So that's been like some of the biggest elements of that. Not trying to get in my own way has been a huge thing. And seeing where like my own gaps are, I think is very big for me. I really believe in taking accountability when it comes to how the business is doing. So that's been huge for me. Like the ups and downs of it have been real, but there's been some really good wins, like being featured on different platforms and having really good clients and guests, and getting good reviews, ratings. Those are all good things, but like for one, being able to take care of my mom sometimes and make sure like my girl feels good, make sure like I have time for myself every now and then, that's been like a real rewarding situation too. So that's kind of like where my brain's been at when it comes to uh, the difference it's made. Being able to like put my friends on games, saying, "Hey, try to do that. Don't do that." Has been a real big thing too. And this develop a networking community around the studio, I think, is really big. Like my business neighbors will come and record here, or they'll bring me clients, I'll bring them clients. Creating like an ecosystem of business owners is a real powerful thing. It's something we need in our community, where people are relying on each other and not having to really step outside of that community to get things done. That's a really important thing that we need as a community. So yeah, that's some of the things that I find really important to me.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like when you reach that stage where you're able to go through certain things and certain aspects of being a business owner, like you mentioned, being able to do the day to day operations, to do the hiring and the firing, to be able to close out deals for clients, you are growing and you're learning new things at the time being, but it's also so much responsibility that sometimes like you have to stop and pause, like, man, like, how did I get here? Like, how did I honestly get here? And man, again, I've been seeing your story ever since I came in contact with you back in, I think, 2020. Cause like when I got started, I was like watching other podcasts. And for you and for people who don't know, you have Hustle Over Everything, Alex,
Mhm.
and you grew that. Your little saying was the show has legs. So like that
Yeah.
was your little catchphrase. But to see that experience as well, how you were able to take that from the ground up and bring it to a plateau that no one could take away, and now transitioning into being a podcast like studio owner, it really shows the growth and just your trajectory of how everything has fallen in place for you, which I think was fantastic. And overall, I mean, again, I commend you for that. And I just have a follow up question. If you could maybe talk a bit about just how that experience coming in with Hustle Over Everything translated smoothly for you to open something like Wit Media Studios.
Man, honestly, if it wasn't for Hustle, there would be no Wit Media Studios. It's born out of that, honestly. So with Hustle, it was started in 2020 with me and Owen, and we brought that up from 0 to I think like 800 subscribers up until like 2023, 2024. And as things were growing, I noticed that it was really hard to find a space to record. So what we had ended up doing is using a photography studio, and we hired a videographer to come in, and every time there would be a recording, we have to set up and then take down, set up and then take down, and it would be a whole thing every single time. So it was like it was very makeshift all the time, and that's kind of what the starting of it was. And it was very challenging, but people wanted us to record for them. And we were thinking about how we're going to monetize Hustle. What's going to happen, And I'll never forget, I was at Daniel's Launchpad, and I had a call with a guy I wanted to be a guest on the show. And he was talking about what he needs to get done. And he's just said, "Oh, I need someone to help record me." And I was like, "Oh, I can do that for you." And he's like, "All right, how much?" And I just said $1,000. He's like, "Done." And I was like,
It's like, you capping with me?
"What was that? $1,000 to just to record you? Say no more." And I came out that call jumping for joy, like, "Yo, I just monetized the pod, like we're good," and that was the whole thing. And that was like the very first inception of like the studio. So things started like trickling forward from there. And honestly, the way Women Studios came about was through Hustle. So I'll never forget this moment. It's a little bit long-winded, but we're podding, right? So through Hustle, I was reached out to from the Durham region tourism board. And it was around Collision. We were doing a lot of content around Collision, and they saw and reached out. And literally the moment I saw that email, it was within 30 seconds. When I kid you not, 30 seconds from the time I got that email, I responded back because I was like, "Excuse me, what? Durham region, the tourism board? Say no more." And she said, "Wow, the response time is so fast." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." and she responded back, and we ended up getting a deal with tourism board to feature businesses in Durham region. And one of the businesses was this office space, and like 2 other businesses and in Durham. And the business owner of the office space and I connected. And it was so crazy because during the pandemic, we're all at home watching TV, right? And I got wind of this show called Undercover Billionaire, right? And literally nobody else watched it. When I say nobody. Have you heard of the show before? Not Undercover Boss.
I might have heard it from like the grapevine, but I've never tapped into it.
Not Undercover Boss, Undercover Billionaire.
No, don't worry. I'm someone, like, I'm on the internet, and like I will be scrolling, and sometimes the most random things will come up. I think I've seen it like maybe once, but I never tapped into it.
So with Undercover Billionaire, this is what happened. So the show started rolling, and no one else I knew watched it because it wasn't even available in Canada. It was only available in Discovery in the US. So I had to like find like a link on YouTube with like cartoons playing in the background. The ones like to try and like get around copyright. And and it was a 9-hour video on YouTube. And I watched the whole thing,
Wow.
because I was like, this is crazy. Like, and the premise of the show is to figure out how to make $1 million in 90 days, or you have to give up $1 million. So that was huge. I was like, damn, how are people doing this? And it had Grant Cardone, Monique Eilert, and another person that to do this challenge. I'm like, this is amazing. So this is how I stole from Grant Cardone. Um, Grant Cardone created a business where he took a abandoned theater and somebody else and created a podcast studio. And in it, he started doing trainings. He started doing podcasts and marketing for companies. Started a marketing company in Pueblo, California. I highly suggest y'all check it out. It's like a great case study for any entrepreneur to like look at how like an entrepreneur thinks in like the heat of battle. You know, like they were all literally ass out trying to figure it out, and they all did. And by the end of the 90 days, his business wasn't worth $1 million. It was worth $10 million. And I was like, damn, that's crazy,
Wow.
you know? So I was like, that great story kept it pushing, right? Through that meeting with Durham region, meeting here, I met with a businessman, like I said, his name is Randy. And we were just chopping it up. And by the grace of God, he was like, you know what show I've been watching?
Undercover
Undercover
billionaire.
Billionaire. I've been watching a 9-hour YouTube link, and it was like, get the hell out of here. There's no, what are the odds of that? Like, that's God. Like, I can't say anything else but God, you know? So that was that, and that's kind of what sparked the idea of creating the studio here. And it's like, listen, there's a space here. You know, you have the expertise from running a podcast for 5 years. You know, you really met me through the podcast. Why don't we create something? And that's what birthed with media studios. You know, so that's how it came to life.
Mm,
Which is like crazy. Like I can't say I chose it. It feel like it chose me. You know, so yeah, that's
well,
been yeah.
100%, man. I do see some comments. I know I didn't want to interrupt you because I know you were going on your story. Just kind of
Yeah.
scrolling through. I saw frequency event promotions came on. Shout out to Chris. He's also asking whatever happened to Owen when you guys started Hustle. I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
leave
a
that
great
to you. Obviously, we've talked about it, but I'm gonna leave that to you, man.
yeah, that's a great question. You know, Owen wants to go and do his own thing. So um it's really this that simple. Appreciate that. Mr. Frequency Event Promotions, you know, and I appreciate you coming up to the live show. I remember you came up to the live show in Indochino. I salute you, bro. Um, yeah, he wanted to do his own thing. So he's like, yo, I want to go do my own thing. I'll give you the rest of the uh, pod, and I want to take the studio side, and bygones be bygones. And that's how it happened, you know? As simple as that.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah,
man. He also says that he loves your quality of your background. I'm being so serious. I don't
appreciate
think
that.
I've ever got so much comments about someone's background. I feel like before we move on, we have to ask, like, man, like, what's the secret to your setup? Because I think a lot of people love to know how can they get a setup like yours.
There's no, it's not a secret, I wouldn't say. It's literally just it's a DSLR, it's good lighting, and that's it. That's really it. You know, instead of using like your webcam, you know, we're using a DSLR and some lighting. We already have the studio here. So I'm literally in with Media Studios right now recording it. So
Mm.
it's simple as that. There's no behind the scenes tricks. We have one light that's pointed towards the back. We have another light pointed towards the right in front of me a little bit to give me a little bit of shine. And we have some background lights in the corner. I don't know if you see that orange right there.
Yep, the accent
So
light. I
so
peep it.
so
I see game. Don't worry.
so yeah, so that's kind of like the setup overall. It's not overcomplicated, but is it's what it's needed. You know, we try to keep the studio to like what's needed. We don't try to overdo it and overshoot to too much because we don't want it to look overdone either. So that's kind of like the balance, you know. But listen, we've had it's been a process, you know, like doing the lives. It's been a process. I remember like even shout out to Nigel, you know, like we first ended up doing it with the wrong cable, and that ended up getting a little bit of feedback the first time. So it's all been a process of learning. You know, all it is repetition. So if you're in this and you're just going for your craft, all you got to do is repeat it, man, and you'll get there.
Yeah, 100%. Repetition and duplication is super important. And again, like, I definitely see from the quality that you put out. Like, I'm trying to like get close to mimicking that as well. Like I have like two like soft boxes like shining right in front of my face right now. And I do have a DSLR, but it's such an old model of a Canon camera. It's like I think I got like the Rebel T5. Like that dropped like in 2015. So like I gotta upgrade that camera ASAP. No Rocky man.
Man, listen. It's not the chef's cookware. It's the chef. You know what I'm saying? Just work with what you have and become the better chef. You know. So that's all that's needed, bro. And you already have a good setup with this virtual setup, man. Then you can get cooking with this. Um, so if you want to step up, you can. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, bro, it's the chef's himself. It's not the chef's tools. You know.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I should have told everyone in the beginning to get their notepad because I didn't know you were gonna drop like gems at the
Don't
beginning
kill
of
me.
this.
Nah. I ain't trying to preach, you know. I ain't trying to preach.
Hey,
You
listen,
know.
it ain't a Sunday. Ain't no sermon in here.
Exactly, man. Yeah, bro.
Oh man. Okay, I want to go on to the next question because you mentioned at the beginning how again it was you and the hiring, the firing, and I want to talk about the team that you built at with Media Studios. So just how difficult was it to construct an effective team that not only trusts your vision but is able to bring an experience to the clients that you work with? Because obviously you've again connected with such amazing people, and I think for anyone who's starting off as well, maybe they want to bring like some other folks, whether it's like a co-host or a videographer, someone to do editing. Maybe they want to bring in someone who's like going to do all the admin and they don't have to worry too much about being in the scenes and more behind the scenes. I want to know exactly like just what was the process of finding the team that allowed you to move forward with Wit Media, but also kind of learn from them as well and their skill sets.
Man, I'm happy you asked that. So one thing that's really been true to me, and this from running with media, like I noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs that were on the show, they always said that they hired for what they didn't have. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me hire for exactly what I don't have. So I'm somewhat knowledgeable in videography, but I don't have the depth of videography. Like I don't know the H3C code or this, that. Like I don't have that kind of like depth. So I'm like, all right, let me find someone who has the depth, you know, like that's something that's super important for me. Um, and another thing too is that I'm very creative. I'm like literally the most right-brained person, you know. Before this, I actually had a blog called Right Brain because I used to be focused on art and creativity, things of that nature. So I know that because I'm more of a creative person, I'm type B, and I'm gonna need someone type A to help with like organization and things of that nature. So that's something that like I made sure to get. As well to that, like I know I have thick skin, so I want to have somebody that has the notion to speak their mind, you know. So I wanted to intentionally hire somebody. So when I was hiring, what I would do is and I still do this to this day. Well, when I invite someone to the studio, I'll mess up the studio. You know, like I'll leave cables out. I'll like leave like a heater out and like the something off with the studio, and then I come in and I have them come in and like, all right, so what's wrong with the studio? And they're like, oh, it's fine. It's great. Yeah. It's perfect. And one of the main things is that like I want people who work here to have pride in it and to be able to spot the things. I want them to have that eye. You know, like sometimes I don't have that eye. You know, I don't know if you have that eye. Like when your mom comes in and is like, clean up the thing, clean up the this, clean up, and you're like, I didn't even see that. Like where was that? You know what I'm saying? Or she tells you to go get that thing in the cupboard, and you're like, the thing in the cupboard, okay, and you look in the cupboard, you don't
It's
see it.
not there, and it's like
Not-
they go there and they pick it up, and it's just like, bro, I swear it disappeared right in front of my eyes.
Exactly. So I want that person to have that eye. So you know, when I hired my marketing assistant, Crystal, and I brought her in, I was all right, what do you think is wrong with the room? She's like, that and that and that and that and that. Oh my. And I was like, hired. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted somebody to have that guts to speak their mind, you know. I feel like that's very important nowadays too. So that was something that's very important, uh, especially in the creative field, because there's gonna be times where I don't see the angle or the shot, and she might, or my videographer might, or somebody else might, and I want to make sure that they have that confidence to say that, So like confidence and competence is so key, and being able to enunciate that while on the job is just so key versus being docile for the notion of not pissing off the boss or something like that. Like I don't want to have that kind of ecosystem or energy in the room, that culture is, like, I think is the word. So people who want that, the best shot, the best quality, the best things, that's kind of what I aim to go for when I'm hiring people. So that's kind of what's been like the driving force when team building. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I was there when you had the official launch of With Me Studio. I got the chance to bump into Crystal, and like, yeah, I could tell from the jump, like she was someone who's like has a very keen eye, attention to detail, which I think is super important, especially like when it comes to podcasting as well. I think we have like this red alert in our brains that only we can pick up. So for example, sometimes if I'm on a Zoom call, like I can hear feedback and like my antennas just start going crazy. It's just like, oh gosh, like where's that coming from? Like, is it coming from the corner? Like, is it coming from here? Funny enough, I went to an event last week. It was a forum at the Jamaican Canadian Association. It's a good conversation. They were having some of the worst breakdown of audio issues I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm talking like feedback, distortion, like cutting in and out. Like I'm talking, Alex, like where your mic is at right now. They were like right at the tip. Like it was like they were chewing and eating on the mic.
Ooh.
It was bad, and you still couldn't hear them. And I'm at the front row, like I'm like twiddling my fingers, just kind of like, oh gosh, I don't want to walk up to them and tell them how to do their job. But I'm like, yo, do y'all need some help? Like, what's going on? So again, I do feel like there's things that us podcasters have like a radar going off. And I think when we're building our team for a podcast studio or just building a podcast in general, we want people to have like similar antennas that go off for those little things. Cause I think that's super important because you can make something look super fancy, but if it's not the little details that you're paying attention to, then it's just going to go to mess. Like, for example, I always tell people that when you're starting a podcast, do your best to prioritize audio. Like, do your absolute best. Like, the analogy I use, imagine you're going to watch a brand new movie that's dropped in theaters. It's like 4K or maybe like 12K quality, like the background you have right now. Imagine it's like crisp video, and then like the audio is just like, yeah, so today I had my guest today is Charlie. Like you can barely hear him. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you actually saying? So those are things that I always kind of share a little bit of like advice and feedback. But again, like you mentioned, bro, it's just having those people that can pay attention to the smaller things.
Yeah, man, 100%. On your point of audio, man, audio is the legs of your show. Without the audio, you ain't got no legs. So as simple as that. Like, make sure your show has legs. No pun intended. Oh, damn, that was right there. I guess the pun intended. Yeah, damn. But yeah, man. Like, yeah, without it, it really isn't anything. It's way worse to have bad video quality than to have bad audio quality. If you have pristine video quality and bad video quality, you can finesse it. You can say, "Yo, I'm under the sea. I'm, in a 1980s video camera or something like that," to kind of finesse it. I've seen that happen a few times to make the best out of bad video quality. There's a lot of things you can do to get around it, but bad audio, you're just screwed. So you got to make do with what you can.
100%, man. Again, for people who are just tuning in, this is the Safe Room here on LuvBay Radio. I'm here with Alex, the founder of Wit Media Studios. We've been having a wonderful conversation for all the fellow podcasters or people who want to start podcasting. This is the conversation. This is the one you want to be tapped into. Again, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We are live right now on LuvBay Radio, on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the fixins like I mentioned before. Again, make sure you can find us on the Google Play or the App Store if you want to check out more Love Bay Radio. And again, please give a donation. It goes a lot to the work that we do here on LuvBay Radio. Y'all see the number at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna do a test run, okay? Y'all know exactly what's coming up. So when I get to that point, y'all should already have it set up in the chats. I'm gonna give you like 3 seconds to do it right now, okay? The number is 437-778-32. Y'all too quiet. I feel like we need, come on. Okay, I'll try with Alex. Let's see if Alex has been paying attention, okay? Let's just see if so the number is 437-778-32.
Oh man, you're not gonna 8, 9.
Oh my god.
Well, I couldn't catch it. It was 8 something. I was looking for it at the bottom of the screen before, and it just came out as I was looking at it. 8 something. What was it?
It was 99.
99. Ah, damn, I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
close.
Honestly, a good little trick, just take like 2K, like 99 overall,
99 overall. All right, cool. 2K.
Yeah.
Or I could do 99 problems.
Oh, there you go. There you
99
go.
problems. There you go.
Okay. Okay. I do see the comment 99. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah.
99. Damn, I
Yes.
failed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Look at Chanel put in 98. Listen, this one thing you need to know about Chanel. She likes to troll with me. Like she likes to play with my emotions. But I know it's all love. I know it's all love, man.
Got you.
Yeah. One thing I also want to go into now. Go into the next question. Why have you decided to push the mission statement of the studio being for podcasters by podcasters? That's something I want to know. And in addition to that, how has the implementation of just that mission statement just allow you to build upon new things that you want to do? I know we talked before. You said you want to do workshops, you want to keep building collaborations, you want to find other opportunities and resources to share with other folks. So again, just sort of a two-part question. Why are you pushing the mission statement that is for podcasters by podcasters, and how has that correlated to other ventures that you want to do with media studios?
Man, I gotta give a big shout out to Wheezy, WTF. Wheezy and Alex Media out of New York is a big uh they're like virtual mentors to me. They started their podcast studio in New York, WTF Studios, and that was a huge inspiration for me to start with media studios. And one of their mantras is the same thing, and it's like the FUBU aspect of having the experience of someone who's been there do it. FUBU is for us, by us, and for podcasters, I think it's the same kind of thing, especially for someone from the community that has been in it for so long. Like a lot of people know me from the pod, so I'm like, why not just do it from a podcaster perspective? And I apply all of that knowledge into the studio. So I specifically made a lot of different changes to the studio to accommodate podcasters, whether it be being able to do a live recording or have a wall that's blank. So if someone wants to do a photo shoot right after, they can do that. Having a camera on this side so they can do shots right after. All the small little adjustments to make it very podcast friendly has been like a game changer for the business and niching down into podcasting itself. Because a lot of people came to me and said, hey, you do photo shoots, to do this, to do that. And saying no to money was a tough thing at first because I wanted to be intentional, and I think being intentional is one of the big aspects of having it being for podcasters by podcasters, to say that, hey, it was someone who has the experience and not just someone that's a guru in it, somebody who's actually taking the time to be a practitioner in it, applying themselves versus somebody who's just pontificating off of, made up things. So that's kind of where that comes from. And what was the second question?
Yeah, the second question was based on, that mission statement, like how has that, motivated you even more to like have ideas of like, doing workshops and teaching people a little bit more
Got
about
you.
the elements of podcasting?
Yeah. So what's this been the process of having the studios? People have been asking me a ton of questions, and I noticed that there's a big gap for business owners specifically. I think with the everyday podcaster, there's going to be a lot of gaps too. But for people who are doing this for their business, it makes a huge difference. Of being able to do it right, so they can drive people to their companies. That's what makes a big difference. Chanel, what's the joke? I think I might have missed it.
No, I think it's back to the whole 99 thing again. Like I think she's like Still kind of
She's
geeking
still on
about.
that. Got you, got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's teasing you. This and that's what a sister does, you know?
Yeah. Actually,
Um,
funny enough, we're twins.
get out of here.
Yeah, bro.
Who's born oldest?
Me though. So
Oh, you're
sometimes
the
I got.
oldest. So
So
do you
I
carry?
gotta.
Do
Uh,
you carry like the older brother? Like, is that like something that you have? Are you like the older brother in practice too? Or are you guys, or is she the
I
older
mean,
sister?
no. It's like we're on the same wavelength, honestly. Like, usually when you think of a twin, it's like, oh my gosh, like they're so annoying. Like that was never the case for us. Like we have that twin telepathy, and it's all love. There's never been like a hierarchy between us.
Ah, okay, okay. Shout out to you. You know, I'm jealous. I'm an only child. You know, so I always wish I had a sibling. So shout out to you for having a twin sister. Okay, where was I?
It was you were kind of going into detail about like the workshops a bit, in terms of like.
Yeah. So I think the education aspect is a big part of the studio going forward. A lot of people ask a lot of questions in regards to opening and launching a podcast, and there's a huge part too is that most podcasts don't make it past episode 7, and that's because they don't have the systems in place. So they just think it's setting up a mic or just grabbing a mic and going, but they don't realize all the things that need to go be in place to have clips go out, have your episode go out consistently every single week. So um that's been like a big ask. So something I'm looking to work towards is having workshops and lessons and live events to bring people to the knowledge level that I have, or anybody that's really doing it.
Yeah, 100%, man. And just a follow-up question I want to ask. Like, do you feel like there should be more fellow podcasters that are leaning into helping folks, especially with business owners who are trying to start a podcast? Because I think one of the thing is you see a lot of oversaturation sometimes when people are starting a podcast, and then eventually it's like, do they make it past like that 7 episode mark? And if they do, are they able to do it long term? If they do, then does it get to a point where like, do we need more people to kind of be champion like workshops, like, okay, this is how you start a podcast? Because I feel like it's very interesting, because funny enough, podcamp is this weekend, and obviously there's like so many different talking points, but I think overall, outside of maybe a podcast that will come once in a while, I don't think you see much people who've been doing it for a long period of time trying to, start like teaching workshops on helping people how to do their own podcast. So I want to get your take on it, basically.
Hmm. Um, from understanding you correctly, is the question, should there be people launching their own show and continuing forward, right?
Yeah, that, and also just like, do you feel like for folks like yourself who have been doing it for so long, do you think there should be more of us trying to help folks, with helping them to launch their own podcast?
Yeah, because all right, so for one, in Canada, all right, so let me ask you something. If you could name 10 American podcasters, it would be relatively easy, right? Now, who are doing
Yeah.
it full time. Like when I say podcast, I'm talking about who are doing it at a full-time level, all in doing it, right? You can name a good amount of people, right? How much can you name from Canada? How much can you name from Toronto? There isn't that much people who are doing it full time. Even the people who are popular aren't doing it full time, you know, because the scale hasn't really gotten there yet. There still isn't that many people doing it at a strong level. We are just at the cusp of podcasting. If you think about Apple just invest into video podcasting, Netflix is getting into video podcasting. Podcasting has been here for a long time, but video podcasting is a new frontier that's just getting into it. So I think there's still so much room, but I want to be very specific. There's so much more room for the quality speakers, people who have a tenure, people who have experience. I think we are tired of slop podcasts. We're tired of yo, would you rather have 3 legs or one arm?
Or,
You know
or, or
what I'm
just
saying?
like, hey,
Yeah.
yo, man, like, what would you rather have, like 15 minutes with Jesus or $10 million right now? Like, get out of here with that garbage, bro.
Exactly. We're kind of tired of the slot podcast, but I think there's a strong hunger for experienced podcasters. Like if Michael Jordan started a podcast tomorrow, we're all like, hey, go on, Michael. Like let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still a ton of space for people who have tenure. Right now, we're seeing it gravitate towards people who have experience. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the athletes get into podcasting, because there's still so many people who have experience that can speak about their stories. Rappers like Jaden Joe, and Joe, of course, we know Joe Budden. He has tenure and he's a podfather at this point. But new rappers are getting into this space because they're seeing a Tony Yayo, and Uncle Murder are getting into podcasting because there is huge room for it. So there's a lot of space in it. It's just that there needs to be more diversity within, especially in the Black culture. Because if you look at the top podcasts right now, there isn't that much Black podcasters at the top. There isn't.
Hmm.
Most of them are white podcasters, so there needs to be more diversity in the podcasting categories. A lot of us are segregating ourselves to like pop culture and what 50 Cent did last week versus like a murder mystery podcast or a health podcast or things of that nature. So I think there's a lot of room, but just a lot of room in different categories. I think right now we're clogging like our lanes when there's a whole ton of other lanes out there and available. So that's kind of where my mindset is. And I think once we start like going in on that, we could really dominate for sure.
Yeah, 100%, man. Okay, I want to move on to this last bit before we wrap up. I sort of want to do a role play. So I want to pretend that you're not talking to Sean right now. This is somebody else. And let's say the situation is like I'm coming to you because I want to book some studio time at Whip Media Studios. As simple as that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So cool. If you want, you could give me like a name or an alias. Like again, I'm not Sean. Like you can give me any name that comes off the back of your head.
All right, let's do it. Beavis.
Wait, hold on. I said any name, but what in the world?
No, I'm playing with you, bro. I'm playing with you. All right, let's do. Mm, hmm.
He's analyzing. He's like, "What? Like, who would Sean be if he wasn't named Sean?"
If Sean was name, Sean name would really be. Hmm. But I'm trying to think of something comical, but I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stay simple. Let's go with John. Let's keep it simple. I won't go. I already gave you Beavis, so
I mean,
let's
listen,
keep it simple.
I'm like you. Like, I'm creative. I can roll with a punch. We can do Beavis, bro.
Nah, let's stick with John. I ain't trying to roast. I ain't trying to roast. I was just talking shit.
All right, cool. All right, perfect. Hey Alex, I'm John. I just want to say I've been seeing your page, Whip Media Studios, on Instagram, and I really love the work that you're doing. I got a couple of my friends. We're starting up a sports podcast, but particularly we want to talk about the sports culture here in Toronto. I feel like a lot of times it kind of gets overlooked, and we want to showcase certain professional athletes who are either going into like college or getting ready to go into the major leagues. We want to bring them on the show, but also kind of cover the space of Toronto sports. So yeah, we're trying to find a space right now. We saw yours, and I kind of want to get more details and just how your process works and how we can set something up.
Man, I appreciate you, John. Honestly, you're not the first person who's come with a sports podcast, and I think it's a great idea. There's more people in Toronto that need to speak about the sports culture here. From everything that's going on, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. Now, our process is very simple. You can book on our website, and once you book, we send you a welcome guide that has all the details from arrival to underground parking. So all you have to do is show up. We have a multi-cam recording for you. So all you have to do is sit down, relax, and record. And after that, you get a Google Drive link with all of your files. So you can just either hit upload or maybe add an intro and outro to it. And Bob's your uncle. You're off to the races. You can upload on Spotify, YouTube, all the things.
All right, perfect. I do have a question. So once we arrive there, are you going to be basically like there behind the scenes, or are you going to be like right there while we're filming? Because for us, like we know nothing about like setups or anything like that. I know you mentioned it's
Yeah.
going to be all there, but obviously we just want to be able to vibe. But of course, like me being the person I am of like my clique, I'm the one that's always concerned. Everyone else is just there to like, yo, let's just talk and vibe. But at the end of the day, as much as I love my boys, I do want to make sure everything goes smoothly. So I just want to know, like, would you be there, like, in the space as well?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll be there to welcome you, to greet you. And if not me, then I'll be another teammate that'll be there to make sure you're set. You make sure you be good with either coffee, tea, water. If you want a sip of Jack or some Appleton, you can get that too. But, it's up to you depending on how you live your life. But, whatever's comfortable, we can make it happen for you. All you got to do is come in, we'll greet you, make sure you're treated well, and sit down and record. Simple as that.
All right, Alex. I'm super excited. I'm gonna head on to that link and book a time in, and I look forward to meeting you up in person.
Most definitely, man. So all you gotta do is hit the whipmedia.ca and you can hit the book now button. It's a blue button on the right hand corner. That'll take you right to the booking link, and then you can see all the different pricing packages that you want to do. So if you want to do an hour, you can do that, and that comes with a multi-cam recording and yeah, everything you need for that hour. Versus if you want to do more, do a batch session. If you want to do a content day where you're doing talking headed content, we do that for you too. We can do the whole editing for you as well. So it's a very simple process, man. Yeah,
All right, perfect, man. Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate your help.
I got you, John.
All right, perfect scene and a perfect amount of time because we're about to wrap up too. Alex, again, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I know the last conversation we had was, I think, 2022. I don't know. It's been a long, long time, but I'm glad.
It's been a minute.
Even
Yeah.
you couldn't believe it. It's like, really? It's been that long? Yeah,
Mhm.
it's been that long since the last time you're on the show. And again, you've grown tremendously. So again, I want to say thank you and shout out to you because you're doing some incredible work in the Durham region. Again, for anyone who's in the Durham region, head to Wit Media Studios. If y'all don't head there, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Maybe you're not locked in with the number one studio in the Durham region. That might be the case. But now you're here tonight. You should be locked in. But again, Alex, thanks so much. Just quickly before we head off, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Most definitely. So you can find me at with Media Studios on Instagram and also Hustle Over Everything. Listen, right now I've taken a break to take a step back and focus on the studio, but we're coming back very, very strong this year. And honestly, I'm working on something very big for the city. So you can find Hustle Over Everything at 247 Hustler on Instagram. And that's something that I'm really like excited about. So yeah, make sure you follow the Hustle Over Everything page too with Media Studios for anything booking. If you want to talk to me specifically, follow me at Elevated Alexander. Just type in ELAVATED. That should come right up. And with Media Studios, WHITMEDIA Studios. And 247 Hustler, number 247 Hustler on Instagram. And on YouTube, Alex Whitfield is the channel. You can see all of our past work from the viral Dr. Umar interview to Matt Barnes to 200 plus interviews with entrepreneurs who have actually done it and built a business. So yeah, I'd love to see y'all there. And Sean, my guy, appreciate you having me on. Honestly, I didn't get to make it to your anniversary, and I feel very bad about that. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to big you up. You've definitely been a supporter for a long time, and I'm really grateful for your support, bro. So I don't let that. Don't let that go under. So my guy Beavis.
Yes.
Listen, Chanel. Listen, the next time I see you, we're only calling Sean Beavis from now on. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying? I
gosh.
think I think that might stick. For people on audio, Chanel just commented, "Great job, Beavis." So I think there might be a little bit of a stick there. Something might happen. You never know.
That's crazy, man. Anyway, let's get ready to wrap this up. Again, thank you everyone for listening. You can find us at the Safe Room Official on Instagram. You want to find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, just type in the Safe Room. If you want to find all of our previous episodes here on LuvBay Radio, just head to LuvBay Afrobeat Music Talk Radio on YouTube. Head to the podcast section. You will see the Safe Room. It's the first show on the playlist. And there's a reason why, because we're the number one show here. So again, make sure you guys tune in next week to your favorite show here on LuvBay Radio. I know we're a little bit over time, so I'm trying to wrap things up soon. So we'll see you guys next time.